Okay, so let's get with this next game. Alright guys, so we're going to be having Assault Pain as the purple Zerg at the top left location on Sniper Ridge, and his opponent is going to be Koget as the white Terran at the top right location. Now you might be thinking, guys, why did I think that this was something that I should kind of tell you that's interesting? For two reasons. Koget is he's very smart, but he's not the most mechanical player. Why? I think that Assault is a little bit aggressive and a little bit more mechanical. So it will be interesting. We can see, I mean, that actually that's kind of the opposite that we see in the APM right now, but I expect that to change.
Yeah, just as you said that, they prove you wrong. That Koget playing with 460 APN here. But yeah, it might be spam. We'll see about that. Interesting assessment. I definitely agree that Koget is a smart player that plays to strategical and tactical advantages. His macro, I can't really judge about that. And then talking here about the nation wars, the Canadian dollar payment.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not something strange that after just a few, like, it's been a week, right? So it's not like it's been a long time. So after a week, I assume that some players are interesting to talk about that.
Yeah. So, what's happening here in the game?
3 drones going out, which...
Huh? Strange. It's gotta be a 12 hatch for sure. Is he double...
Scouting? Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, you oftentimes scout with one drone, but I think
Yeah.
you have the second one. And they're going in the same direction too, which kind of confuses me, to be honest. Is he going to take a quick third? No, he isn't, is he?
It stopped.
Stopped. Now that's interesting. Now I'm confused, officially.
I think that I'm not even confused. I just look at this and I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
And that doesn't happen too often at 2 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
That I'm, honestly confused about the game state. So yeah, this must just be a mistake.
It might have just been like selecting 2 drones instead of 1 and like completely forgetting that he's selecting 2, I guess.
Yeah, he must have, just by accident selected both of them and sent them to scout. Which is bad, actually. I mean, you lose a lot of mining time.
Yeah, especially for Zerg because
stages, yeah. Especially for a Zerg player, it can, spiral out of control a bit.
I will have to say though that it's kind of funky that
Will he get the overload here?
he will get it. He should get it. I mean, you can go up the ramp and kill it. Like
I think if he had gotten up straight the ramp,
yeah, he definitely gets it.
One of the Marines, he should have gotten it.
Well,
That would have been really huge.
yeah.
So nice to see that actually.
Strangely enough, I mean, I find it really weird because that was like there's still like very little going on. Maybe the SCV micro at the main, maybe that was why.
Perhaps, yes.
I do have to say that one thing I find kind of weird is I think the Overlord saw the command center, and we saw 3 hatch. I think before gas, was it? Or I think it was before gas.
Yes.
And that's interesting because I expected Assault to be more on the fast layer, fast mutas, try to get something done early on. But that's not the case. Like, this is more of a kind of an economical build, I would say.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you go 3 hatch, that's pretty much the standard. Going 2 hatch muta is very aggressive build, actually, in ZVT. So you did expect him to go for a very aggressive build here?
I mean, I expected him to get the layer, like the gas earlier. That not really basically to just be aggressive like on 2 hatches, but even if he does take a 3rd hatch, that it would take him later to get it. Just surprised that he opted first to get the hatch and get an economy going, because the problem with what I see with what he's doing is that Koget will be able to have a lot of time to get his infrastructure ready to defend any kind of muta attack. And because for those of you who don't play Terran versus Zerg usually and don't know what is kind of what I'm talking about, when you're actually defending against mutas, the first few, like 5 to 6 mutas are the most dangerous ones, because you still don't have enough like SCVs to put all the turrets, so you have to kind of decide whether you want to cut on the turrets or get a few more marines. It's very difficult to judge correctly what's the best option at that point. But if you give enough time to a Terran, and even he scouts you at this point, then it's a lot easier to just say, okay, at this point I don't really care, I can spend like 400 minerals on a few turrets and that's fine.
Yeah, what I don't really understand from Assault here is he has 8 Zerglings, and so far he hasn't done anything with them. I mean, that's a bit more than you just want to, you know, get the SCV and scare off an early poke.
And speed as well, so...
Yeah, he has speed now. Could, you know, try to do something that, but
oh,
he runs straight in the Marines here.
Just one goes down.
Yeah, Koget is going for the standard poke before Mutalisk to force some sunkens here. And as we can see, there's 2 more colonies being morphed right now. This, you know, poke doesn't really intend to kill the Zerg.
No.
You don't really want to, you know, commit to an attack here. Yeah, exactly. He scans here and he sees that the Soul is making 2 sunkens and he's satisfied with that. Just cost him 2 drones.
There was another drone coming back from, I don't know if you know where.
I don't know either, actually. And interesting as well, you might note that Koget hasn't built any turrets yet.
Yeah.
Even though he scanned the Spire, but he saw that the Spire was not complete. And a good Terran player will actually start the turrets relatively late, because they build kind of fast. And when the mutas are being made, you still have enough time, basically, to get up all the turrets that you want if you're quick about it.
Yeah.
And that of course leads to a better economical situation overall. So Koget being on the ball there. Muta's morphing here for Pain. He has 7 now, but he should be making more.
Yes. You should be making like 9 at the like when the Spire finishes, right? I mean, with the gas that he's been taking, with the fact that the Spire was delayed.
Yeah. But Spire was delayed.
Yeah, I mean, because he didn't take like fast gas, so basically you have like more economy, you can kind of make...
Well, yeah, it's a standard Spire for a 3-hatch mode.
Oh, yeah.
That much is good.
Okay.
Yeah, you should get about 9 mutas here. You can go to 11, and then you have a control group with the Overlord.
Oh yeah, or with a Zergling behind the minerals. That's a better trick, I think, than the Overlord, because with the Overlord is actually moving, so from time to time you have to change it. But if you put 2 Zerglings like behind your minerals and one blocks the other one so it cannot get out, that way... Yeah, it's a trick that most protos use, I think, with a probe and a pylon to use the Corsairs. It's a little bit more efficient because you don't have to worry about the Overlord.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, you see that sometimes, especially when players are very busy microing. For instance, they play, like you said, 2-edge muta. Then Overlords get lost because they fly too much forward in the control group. But let's see how the muta micro is here. Hope the players did experience no lag, because it's really...
Doesn't seem to be.
The Sword harassing the Marines here in the middle, which is fine. He does know that Koget has some turrets up by now.
Oh yeah.
Koget following up, by the way.
Ooh, 1 muted, let's go down.
He's going for the quick start, but did just make 1 tank so far.
One thing we could comment though is on the micro between the mutas and the Marines. For those of you who kind of like don't do, maybe you play Protoss or just basically don't like to use mutas. The muta control is the easier one, right? You usually want to get as close as possible to the unit that is farthest away from the rest of your army, but closest to you, so that you can stop for a second, so that the mutas will shoot only that unit. That's for the mutas. Now, it's still not the easy thing to do, but that's for the mutas. Now, the Terran has 3 ways, actually, to deal with this kind of micro, which is the funny thing. You can actually try to run under the mutas while they're trying to get to you, and then shoot really fast at 1 muta. That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
The other way is to actually leave a unit a little bit at the front, and when they are actually going to come close, you just run back. So basically nothing happens. There's no damage. Nobody exchanged blows. And the third way, which is my personal favorite, is you split into 2 groups, and then you try to make it look like you're forgetting that you have 2 groups, and then try to sandwich, which is the most difficult, but also the funniest to play.
Yes, I mean, if you can pull that off, it's really good. So, the Assault playing pretty standard so far. He's got some lurkers here, and he will be able to protect the third base that he of course got up in the meantime. Assault playing standard here. Koget has a decent push going on here, 2 tanks. Normally I think there should be a 3 tank push.
And a vessel, okay. The vessel's coming up right now, so definitely, I mean, without the vessel, it would be completely no point to trying to. Oh, some mutas like losing in the middle, but just one goes down. This push should be defendable, like with the amount of units that Assault has. I think it is possible to defend it.
Well, yeah, he has to go back with the lurkers here and buy a bit more time.
Yes.
And depending on how aggressive Koget pushes, this push will arrive before Swarm is out, which is a crucial moment.
Yes, and
in every TVZ, but he can try to delay it a bit more with the mutas perhaps, or some links.
there are two things.
Control dependent, actually.
Yeah. I'm looking at the mutas and trying to figure out, because I think they're trying to just intercept reinforcements, but Koget is not like moving his reinforcements yet, so he's trying to get a bigger army so that the reinforcements can attack at the same time. Oh, one tank does go down, and another one gets sniped. Oh, and a good irradiate. That irradiate is still not okay. It's doing a lot of damage. Oh my god, that was a really good irradiate.
But I think Koget is still sad. That was not good micro on the tanks.
Yeah.
One unnecessary by sieging up in range to the lurkers, and the other one was too exposed on the left side, so the mutas could snipe it off rather easy. And you always must protect those tanks when you do this kind of push, because you need them so much to break the lurker line.
Yeah, especially at the early stage, because later on when the fighters are gonna come out, and the tanks are actually difficult to like use because the mobility is really limited. But until then, they can really do some damage. So I would say that Assault is probably in the lead right now, even though of course it doesn't reflect on the supply, or I would say not even in the upgrades. But the way this kind of works is if you do get to the filers and you do get without taking any damage as the Zerg, you usually feel pretty well.
Oh yeah, mostly in great shape. He's getting the greatest fire, he's getting the defiler mount. What do you think of Koget not going for a max switch here? He has 6 factories and he's adding a 7th. SK Terran, as you can see, because he has 2 star points.
I will put it this way. Kudos to him for trying this, but I think he's gonna die horribly. I mean...
and you might elaborate on that, because it's actually a very reasonable point, but we can talk about it.
Okay, so the main problem is this is extremely tasking on your multitasking and fast moves with your army. Like, you have to pretty much select your army, give them a command, and then go back to your base, do a round of production, go back to your army, and if in that small time you got plagued, you got swarmed, you got surrounded, or anything else, you're dead. So you gotta do it pretty much in half a second. And you have to do that for the next maybe 20 minutes of the game, like all the time. So you guys can imagine, this is like playing 300 APM, but really well with that. Not making any mistakes. So...
Yeah, actually, that's right. That's true. Yeah.
I would say that the main problem is not really that you can't do it. It's just, it's so much. It's so difficult to constantly do it that eventually you're going to make a mistake that's going to cost you too much.
And Assault moving now down with the lurkers, getting his 4th base here. Yeah, that was nice. Actually, I think that there's 2 very good reasons why the Korean professional meta game has shifted away from the SK Terran style, or from the bio style in general, and now favors the max switch. And one is, like you pointed out, it's very taxing mechanically, although the pro players can put it off. And the other reason is that many staple maps nowadays don't really feature SK Terran. Like for instance, Sniper Ridge, where you can get a quite inaccessible 5th and 6th gas as a Zerg.
There's probably even more reasons that we don't know about that the Koreans do know, but I would say that definitely it's not the same as when Koreans had practice teams that they would practice on like for 8 hours a day. I mean, even the players who actually Koreans who still stream, you do see that they're taking like breaks from time to time. They play other games for fun, so definitely it's not the same. Like I would say that basically the skill maybe is slightly lower, but the evolution of the game still exists. Okay, there's still like drops going everywhere, and some guardians actually attacking koget. So there's like fighting everywhere right now.
Oh, those guardians are actually quite good. Koget is in a better spot to deal with this now that he's playing SK Terran, because he should have good vessel count. But where are those vessels actually?
There's only 5 actually.
Oh, that's not that many.
Yeah. I mean, it's 15 minutes into the game, so it's not like it's been a very long game. These guys are actually...
Oh, he's doing good damage in Koget now, stimming with a bunch of marines. It's a good irradiator. He will get all the guardians here.
Oh, and then the force is actually going at the natural. Breaking the natural, it seems.
And Assault is not responding in time. He should get a swarm down. Now as Sapley, last Sunken goes down. Get the Nidus Canal. Get the Nidus Canal. You gotta get it. He doesn't focus the Nidus.
Okay.
But okay. He gets it anyway by the amount of lurkers that come through, but it was a bit sloppy by Assault.
Yeah.
You know, really, you need to get a Defiler there in a hurry. And get a swarm down.
I mean, if the army was slightly bigger, it would have killed the Nidus already, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, we're now seeing one of the small groups of koget being killed, and that's why SKT Terran is that difficult, because you just get a little bit of swarm, and the Zerg lost nothing, and you maybe lost 10 supply. Just like that.
Yeah. I mean, SK Terran can be one of the most rewarding styles if you are the type of player that enjoys it, if you like, microing really your ass off and macroing at the same time.
Oh yeah.
Being very mechanical on a high level. If you know where to pick your spot with drops, and if you have good control, of many small groups of units, then it can be very rewarding, but it's very hard to pull off, actually.
Yes, I mean we get
another drop for Koget here. He's focusing the greatest Spire.
No, it's just...
I think he could have gotten it, but it's a nice position for the Marines here, and he's taking down some links actually.
Funny enough, the upgrades actually for Assault are really weak. So compared to koget's bio, that actually is still going to be a problem for Assault.
Yeah, that can also be a strength of VSK, that you get good bio upgrades. He's on 2-2, and these links are on 0 attack upgrades and just 1 carapace.
Koget does need to think about taking a 4th though, because okay, he's making a 4th now, but I think that's really late, and that's one of the problems of Escape. You have to remember that if you play this style, you not only have to do the things that I actually said, but you still have to think about expanding. You still have to think about defending your bases. It's not just the actual attacks or the moves. There's actually a lot more, and the vessels is also another difficult thing to do, because if you have a lot of them, it's very difficult to use them correctly, and you can get plagued and lose them all in a few seconds. So,
but actually, when we're talking about it, I like the position of Koget here.
Oh, of course. I mean, he is playing this really well.
Wow, there's a swarm. He's eating his drones to get more energy. That's the 3rd drone he ate. Some more drones are on an attack course here. Yeah, they get taken down. And he has a big supply lead actually. He's doing okay macro-wise. I mean, he's floating 1k and 1.7k gas, but honestly, you're not expecting him to have 400, and waltzing his SKT over the map.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not realistic.
Even in the best times for the SK Terrans, that was only possible if they had really low income in minerals. They usually would spike at least to 800 minerals.
It's close to inevitable, actually.
Yes, because the main problem is once your army is very big, the amount of army that you have to control gets much more difficult. So you definitely will slow down a little bit on your macro.
Wow, and he's stepping in here. There's nothing in the main base but one lurker. You needed a filer here ASAP, and a swarm. Lurker goes down. You could get the Nidus Canal here, and then the game is basically over.
Yeah.
But not focusing anything, drones are going down. Nidus Canal is still not going down. Oh, nothing comes out of the Nidus.
I don't get it.
Links reinforcing. Didn't he have? He does have a defiler. He didn't send it for the Nidus for the surface.
Okay, the vessels did go down, but
yeah,
is that's not
The army's gonna waltz all over the main base.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah,
Okay.
GG.
So definitely, I would say that even though Koget at the end was kind of slopping a little bit with his control and his macro, and especially if we looked at his economy, while they're talking, like the economy of Koget is actually in shambles. Like he's got one base mining now and another one trying to survive. So if for any reason this like Assault was in a very good position and he could continue the game, then definitely Koget would be in some trouble. But because the efficiency of kind of SK style, definitely this allowed to at least
On SK you can play pretty well or pretty okay on 2 base economy as long as you do have more.
Without any doubt.
It's okay.
It's
I guess it's okay.
You can do it perfectly. Like you don't need like 3 or 5 bases. Definitely. I mean, the thing is that you usually do that when you want to like add tanks to your composition because they are a lot more expensive. But in the situation, okay. So I was just informed. Let me